You see Trump's new solution to ending the Iran war? Yes! This one's big. I love this one. This is real good. We're perhaps giving up on destroying Iran's ability to enrich uranium. We're just going to say, yeah, Saudi Arabia, get nukes too. Why not? Why not? Come on. Now, it's a civilian nuclear program, guys. Civilian nuclear program. This is news that's actually being covered. Let me find a video on this. I can't talk about everything. My delicate maiden's voice will go out eventually. Come on, here you go. Here you go.
The United States has reportedly cut a landmark nuclear deal that could shift the balance of power in the Middle East, not with Iran, but Saudi Arabia. Both the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal report that President Trump has signed off on an agreement that could allow Saudi Arabia to build a civilian nuclear program.
On the plus side, we know that Saudi Arabia won't be incentivized to do another 9/11 if they have nuclear weapons. Like, we'll never get a 9/11 2 because we're giving them a better option.
And eventually enrich their own uranium. But this is likely to spark controversy inside the U.S. with lawmakers who oppose proliferation in the Middle East, not to mention Israel, who might be opposed to the whole idea of this. Let's get to Betsy Klein live at the White House this morning. This would be a big deal, Betsy.
That's right, John. New reporting in both the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal on what could be a major win for Saudi Arabia from the Trump administration that could be announced as soon as today. President Trump, according to the Wall Street Journal, has formally signed off on this deal that would allow Saudi Arabia to have a civilian nuclear program. Now, this could allow Saudi Arabia to make the material necessary to build a nuclear weapon. And CNN reported last week that this agreement tentatively would allow Saudi Arabia to enrich uranium without enacting the international safeguards to prevent nuclear weapons development. Now,
cool. Just skip over it. Why not? I mean, we let Israel illegally have nukes. We let nuclear proliferation take place there. I mean, why not? Why not?
The New York Times has described these concessions made to Saudi Arabia as significant. And as you mentioned, this is likely to be controversial both across the globe and here on Capitol Hill, where lawmakers on both sides of the aisle.
Not to get dramatic with it, but I hope you all understand this only further encourages the moral license that Iran has to fight back against its neighbors. Like, Iran is just piling up moral W's here.
Will be raising a lot of questions. This agreement has to be sent to Congress for a review. It is possible that it could face a disapproval resolution that could ultimately prevent it from going into effect if they have a veto-proof majority, which seems unlikely as of now. But experts have raised questions about what safeguards the U.S. is putting on the deal. Secretary of State Marco Rubio was pressed on that by our colleague Kit Maher just a moment ago. Listen.
Why would Rubio know? You have to ask Kushner.
Well, I'm not going to opine directly on that agreement. We're going to put out, even when the moment is appropriate, we'll put
he's not happy about it. This was not his call.
Out that in writing. We have to do it with Congress anyways, so we'll certainly do it publicly. But suffice it to say, the U.S. is not going to reach any agreement with any country in the world that leads to the risk of proliferation.
Now, this agreement, according to the Wall Street Journal, would last 30.
Don't other countries have a say about this? Nah, international law is genuinely, like, dead. It's really just a patronage system where if you demonstrate enough fealty to Trump personally, he will allow you to do whatever you want. The rest of the world's basically given up on it as well. It's not like Western Europe fucking cares about international law. They've been letting Israel run rampant this entire time, you know? If they gave a shit about international law, the entirety of Europe would have sanctioned Israel into the dirt. They wouldn't even let Israelis visit their fucking Greek islands anymore, you know? But no.
Years and provide tens of billions of dollars to U.S. companies that could help shore up Saudi Arabia's nuclear infrastructure. Now, this deal really bolsters U.S.-Saudi relations after some strain due to President Trump's war with Iran, but it really underscores how the Trump administration has taken steps to shore up this key alliance, John.
Yeah, there have been discussions in the past, in past administrations, that would have required some kind of diplomatic concessions from Saudi Arabia. They don't appear to be part of these discussions right now.
How interesting. Wow, what a surprise.
Right now, we're going to have to wait and see the final details here, but this would be a major development. Standing by for much more on this. Betsy Klein, thank you very much. U.S. is entering into a deal with Saudi Arabia to create a nuclear program.
Zionists aren't happy either about the deal. It's a difficult situation, okay? The main reason Jared Kushner has gotten to be so powerful and so wealthy is because he's essentially a Saudi envoy for normalizing relations with Israel. Israel wants greater Israel, right? Which means eventually they're going to have to wage war on Saudi Arabia. That's a long-term goal, but even the most deranged Third Temple types in Israel understand that that's a really, really difficult thing to achieve in the short term. Like, they might abstractly want to conquer the whole Levant and, you know, build out the borders and attack Egypt and Saudi Arabia and so on, but like, realistically, they know that's not going to happen, you know, anytime soon. First, they want to eat up Lebanon, Syria, defeat Iran, stuff like that. So, there's kind of like a complex interplay here where the most reasonable Israelis, and that's a very like low bar, very, very low bar, understand they have to normalize relationships with Saudi Arabia. But obviously that doesn't mean they like Saudi Arabia. They're Muslim Arabs, you know, they're not happy about it. It's just like a temporary short-term peace agreement. So by giving Saudi Arabia what it wants now, basically as an apology token for inflaming Iran and getting Saudi Arabia bombed by Iran, like, we have caused immense destruction to Saudi Arabia by poking the bear, by inflaming tensions with Iran, by starting this war, right? We and Israel did. So Saudi Arabia probably is like, okay, fuckos, like, you've caused us a lot of damage, better pay up now. I understand that like the viability of a civilian nuclear program was a long-term goal. You better make it a short-term present. So Israel's not getting what they want because they can't dangle this carrot over Saudi Arabia's head anymore. Saudi Arabia is probably not happy about this still because it doesn't really undo the Iran war. Nobody's happy. Nobody's happy with this. Oh, my apologies. One person's happy with this. America's greatest ally. Israeli Finance Minister Bezalel Smotrich says Israel has no interest in joining the war with Iran, adding, quote, "The current situation is good for us." So they're okay with, you know, the chosen people sitting back while we, you know, we occasionally lose a plane over Iran or whatever. Our greatest allies in history, truly. Just unbelievably good relationship with them. Phenomenal. They goad us into starting this war, which we know they did. We know it's unambiguous. It's not even remotely up for debate. Israel was begging us to get involved in attacks on Iran, and now they're like, we'll let them handle it. It's refreshing how openly vile Smotrich is. Honestly, him and Ben Gvir are such cartoon villains. It's genuinely hilarious. Yeah, but our leaders still kiss their boots, so it's a little bit frustrating. But I agree. I appreciate them not making it very like morally ambiguous. You know what I mean? Here's a quote: "Israel will fight to the last American." Yup. Keep in mind, like, in spite of everything happening right now, the pressure for Israel to pull out of Lebanon has basically been, like, completely abandoned. There was a brief period of time where Trump was like, you should probably stop. You have to get out of there. That doesn't belong to you. But now that's pretty much over. Like, Israel is fine with maintaining the situation indefinitely because they just don't fucking care. They just like bloodshed, you know? Fucking freaks. Absolutely vile. Do you think Saudi Arabia will have these nukes and be able to threaten Israel? No. Saudi Arabia is not gonna. The only circumstances under which Saudi Arabia would pose any kind of military threat to Israel would be if Israel attacked them first. And even Israel is reasonable enough to understand that that's not going to happen. Also, this is not going to develop into a weapons program for quite a long time. I do think that in the long run, it's possible they do that because we're basically not like implementing safeguards, and Saudi Arabia is a deeply evil country. Like, if we don't implement any safeguards on the degree of enrichment or any oversight on their enrichment facilities, then like, yeah, in the long run, they might develop nukes. Everyone wants nukes, you know? And if there's no oversight, there's not really an incentive to not get them. Iran's trying to develop nukes. You know, they say they're not, but like, we know they would get them if they could. Israel has nukes illegally. Like, why not them too, you know? Why not them too? Do you want nukes with Saudi Arabia? No. I want Iran to have nukes because then maybe people would fucking take them seriously and stop. No, do you want nukes personally? Is there like a property tax on owning them? I feel like that'd be a pain in the ass to maintain, you know? Like, it's like owning a boat where it's like, it's just one upfront cost, but then it's like you have to do nuke maintenance or whatever. Fueling it is expensive as fuck. It's like a bunch of like regulatory shit, fees and fines if you mismanage any element of its storage. Nah, fuck that. Israel's military budget's actually really stretched with all these wars. Yeah, it's like their whole fucking economy. Yeah, for sure. It's good luck with that, you know? is your domicile zone for nuclear storage. Fucked up, NIMBY-ass world, over-regulatory omni-segment bullshit. You can't even have a nuke on your property anymore. It's fucked up. Some guy from the local municipality shows up and is like, well, technically you're zoned for residential, not nuclear storage. And you're like, okay, so fucking how do I get it zoned for nuclear storage? And they're like, well... it's gonna be a little while before we could even get this one off the ground, to be honest with you. And you're like, dog, it's my nuke. Can I just keep it in my basement? And they're like, no. Fucked up. Maintenance for the F-35 is like $100,000 for every flight hour. Yep. Make that MIC lots of money.